Hi everyone, this is Sylvan from Sylvan's Way, and today we're going to be looking at Folklore Oracle. And this Oracle I just got in, so this is a new mass market release from Rockpool. It's by, I think it's pronounced Giada Rose and Hadas Knox. And like I said, it just came out today. I just got it delivered. This is the beautiful box that it comes in. So it's very pretty. Really like it. Let's look at what the back has to say. Explore the hidden depths of your soul through the rich symbolism of folk wisdom. This deck draws on age-old traditions and archetypes to offer insight into the seeker's inner world. Lushly illustrated by Giada Rose, each card depicts an element from folklore which draws forth deeply rooted issues from the murky subconscious into the light. Shine your lantern, follow the path, find what you seek. And it includes 44 cards and a guidebook. Notice that there's been quite a few. I don't know why 2025 happens to be the fairy tale folklore year, because that's what it sure seems to be, doesn't it? There's so many of these decks coming out and they're so beautiful, it's hard for me to resist them. So this is the inside of the box. Do you dare to cross the threshold? And then we have the guide and the cards, and then the back of the box says discover yourself in every tale. Isn't that cool? So I think it kind of goes, right? Do you dare to cross the threshold? Because if you do, discover yourself in every tale. So that's super cool. I like that. Very pretty box. Nice sturdy hardcover box. And then this is the guide. Let's look at the guide, because you know I love myself a good guide. And this guide is interesting. I'm not sure if you can see it, but it actually has like a corduroy, almost like texture to the front of it. So it's super interesting that they use that textured paper on it. It's the back of it. It is a full colored guide, which is awesome. I love it. And it includes images of each card. So again, this kind of a guide is the kind that I love to put next to my bed and just like read through the whole thing, because it includes the card. So I don't have to pull the card out to actually read what the card is about in the guide. So we have a nice table of contents. So here, and then an introduction. This deck is for those who dream of miscloaked fairy rings, who turn to their favorite macabre and magical tales for comfort. For those who think to spare a drop of milk for unseen visitors, and whose eyes scan the water's edge in search of layers and wild-haired women with streaming tails. Your mind longs for the old ways and drifts to the old stories, each which whisper to you in a way newer ones can't. You see yourself in their tarnished silver, in what lies beyond the surface ripples, where your own hidden depths wait and beg for attention. Shuffle your deck, close your eyes, and choose a card. Very great. That's nice. Goes on from there. Each card is an exploration of an image, a symbol, an item, a habit, or a phenomenon found in folklore, mythology, superstition, or the patterns of everyday life. And each card asks one central question. Indeed, this deck is more concerned with asking questions than with prescribing fixed answers, which gives you, the seeker, an opening into a mentally wherein every action is meaningful and every familiar item a site of potential self-discovery and insight. We hope that you take each card further than we have carried it, into the depths of yourself, where only you can point the way toward the answers your heart longs for. Very nice, very nice. How to use the cards, single card drawings, what kind of questions to ask when you're pulling a single card. Then we have the initiation spread, adult, child, elder. We have the Veiled Desires spread, which is a 5-card spread. And then the healing spread, which gives the mind, spirit, and body with the conscious and subconscious above and below it. and then we go into the actual cards. So let's see what the cards have. So the cards have a title and a question with a full image. It talks about the lore behind the card itself, the meaning of the card, and then diving deeper into the card. So quite a bit of information included for each one of these. A lot of information, very nice. At the back of it, we have acknowledgements. I love this. This is what the back of the card looks like. And to me, it almost looks like an eyeball. So look into your future. Acknowledgements about the author and about the illustrator, which is very nice. And then that's it. Very pretty, very nice. Good, solid guide. I feel like Rockpool does a really good job in including just enough information in their guides. The guides are not huge and overwhelming, just enough, which is, what I want. So that's the guide. And then these are the cards. So for the cardstock, it is their normal, as far as size, it is a normal oracle size, your typical. It's not as small as a tarot deck. What am I thinking? Tarot deck. It's a little bit larger than that, which is nice. I like my oracle cards because I can then see the images better. So, I do prefer a smaller deck, but, for oracles, this is really what I expect. The cardstock itself is a nice, soft, matte finish, and the thickness is good. I like this kind of cardstock. So just their normal Rockpool cardstock. The sides of this are gold gilding, and then this is the back. Now, that one we looked at was kind of elongated, so it looked more like an eyeball, but this one looks more like a target. I think it's really pretty. It's got keys on it with some strawberries and some flowers, so it's very pretty. So that is the cardstock gilding and backing. So let's look at each one of these cards. Do what within you needs to be refreshed. Silky, what must you sacrifice to find your way home? Which is very interesting. Silkies is an old, I think, Scottish or Irish tale about seals, women seals from the ocean that shed their skin and come onto land, but they have to go back or they'll get stuck on land. So what must you sacrifice to find your way home is a great question to have on the card for the Silky. Broomstick, where are the cobwebs within and without? So what kind of stuff do you need to refresh about yourself? Because internally we got to get rid of those cobwebs too sometimes. True love. Did I skip over one? No. Okay, true love. Do you feel whole? Wonder why they ask that question when it comes to true love. Walking. Whose voices are raised alongside yours? Spinning wheel. Can you spin straw into gold? Very interesting. Hair. What is the source of your power? Back in the Middle Ages, women, their hair was a source of beauty and power for women. So cutting off or shearing off their hair was really a detriment to them. It usually meant that they, I'm over here like with hand signals and you can't see it because I didn't have it in the camera. I'm so silly. But cutting off their hair or shearing their hair was a punishment back in the Middle Ages. So what is the source of your power seems very fitting for hair. Will-o'-the-wisp. Will you follow foolish fire or your heart's true knowing? Forest. What lies in the depths of the shadowed woods? Oh, very nice. I like that image. I moved my light around because I felt like the bottom of the cards were a little dark. Sleep. What do your dreams illuminate? Our dreams do illuminate quite a bit, don't they? Birth. What are you birthing into the world? Because birth is so much more than actual pregnancy. Stolen child. What love can you offer the child you once were? That is a good question. Oh my gosh, that's a great card. Wow. Okay. Journey. How do you dare to go in search of your destiny? Very nice. Scissors. Shape something new or cut away access. That's another good one too. Oh, I really like that. What a great thing. Are you cutting out a new pattern in your life, or are you cutting off the things that you don't need? Great. Hearth. Where is your heart at home? Because home might not be a hearth. It might be out in the woods. It might be at the ocean, but you don't live there. So there's a lot to hearth. And where is your heart at home? I love that. Wheel. Where lies the source? And if you don't know, this is a famous well in England. Oh my gosh, what is the name of it? I'll try to think of it and add it to here. But there's a famous well that this is for, and she's like coming out of the well. Where lies the source? Mirror. What do you see reflected back to you? Fever. What needs to be burned away? Oh, that's a good one too. I like it. Mourning. What must be grieved? You know, there's so many things that people don't think about actual grieving in their life. I mean, you can grieve not only loved ones that you lose or pets that you lose, but you can grieve dreams that never came true, hopes and desires that you had, that maybe you get past a certain point and you know that's something that you're never going to be able to accomplish or do. And grieving for those things is perfectly normal. And it's so much better to allow yourself to grieve and get past some of those things and come to a certain realization. And so that you don't hold it with you and then have that grief come out in different ways that are not healthy. So mourning and what must be grieved is actually so much more. And it's really worth asking this question of yourself. Birds. Where might your mind fly when untethered? Ooh, and these birds are gorgeous. Mumming. What joy is knocking at your door? And this is all holiday celebrations here. This is that horse head that they carry around and clack the jaws together for good luck. And then these guys are dressed up in straw. Great holiday celebration images here. Berries. How might you practice discernment? I'd be interested in reading about that one. Ghosts. What is haunting you? And look, there's a person behind like a ghost holding on to her. Very interesting. Household spirits. How can you cultivate a friendship with the unseen? Yay, little mouse and a little guy going into the tunnel with the socks getting darned by the mouse. Very cute. Oh, I like that one. Magic words. What are you speaking into being? Because words are powerful. They're so powerful. Something that sometimes people don't understand. Like the words that come out of your mouth. If you say them a lot, you're just manifesting it. So be careful about what you say and try to manifest in your words what you actually want to become part of your life and true. Kaliak, I never pronounce it right. I think it's pronounced Kaliak. What wisdom are you gathering? So this is the crone of winter. Very beautiful with a sheep here. Shapeshifter, can you dance between forms? So this is very interesting image. It looks like almost like, see that kind of furry leg and furry tail, but then there's like a snake. And is she changing into it or is she dancing with it? I'm curious about this card as well. Fairy ring. How do you get to fairyland? I love it when I see fairy rings. I mean, I know that there is an actual reason why they develop with the way that the mushrooms actually grow. And I love fairy rings, and I will actually stand in them and dance around. I don't ever expect anything to really happen, but I still love it. I still love fairy rings. Four seasons. Can you embrace your cyclical nature? Can you? Door. What might you unlock? You have the key to unlock the doors in your life. Moon phases. How can you radiate light in the dark? Curse. What dark energy can you cast off? Prophecy. How might you hold a vision lightly? Interesting. Hold it lightly. Healing herbs. What practical magic rises from within? Predators. What predatory forces are at work in your life? You know, these questions are so good. Look at this being behind her, stabbing her in the back. You have a wolf, and see how she's kind of changing into the wolf? Very interesting. It looks like this person's coming out of a flower. Very, very interesting. Divination. How can you integrate logic and intuition? Ooh, I do struggle with that because I am an extremely logical person. Not extremely, not so much like my husband, but I am a logical person. So sometimes it's hard for me with the intuitive stuff, and I really try to integrate. I had it a lot when I was younger, but for some reason, as I've gotten older, I'm not as intuitive as I used to be, and I am trying to redevelop that within myself. Death. How might an ending become a renewal? Amulet. How are you protected? And she's wearing a hagstone. Gold. What is your true value? Salt. What requires your protection? And look, she's circled with a salt ring. Hermit. Who will you become in silence? Bread. How are you nourishing yourself? Garden. Oh, I love this image. It's so pretty. How is your inner garden growing? And then lastly, iron. Where is the balance between modern and metaphysical? How do you balance that? Because we know so much, like, how do we leave ourselves open to that metaphysical and that unknown? Very nice. These are very nice. You know, another thing I noticed looking at these images, each one of them looks like they're almost a doorway or a portal or a window that you're looking through to see the actual image. So that is really lovely. I like that. I really like the muted tones of this as well. It's very pretty, soft. I feel like this is a great year-round deck. I think it's also a really good one to like maybe use for reading at night and doing a journal. So you can ask yourself this question. You know, I do use my oracle cards a lot like that, so I'm always suggesting it. So that is definitely how I'm probably going to be using this one. So let's see how this shuffles. I don't think it's going to have any problem riffle shuffling because, you know, I have a couple of Rockpool decks that are like this. And so, yeah, it shuffles just fine. It's not so thick. I couldn't shuffle a deck that is got this thicker cardstock. I wouldn't be able to riffle shuffle a deck like this if it was 78 cards. But 44 cards, I could definitely riffle shuffle the deck. So riffle shuffle's great. I'm sure that it's going to hand over hand just fine. Yeah. I'm a messy shuffler. Let's see what it looks like when they're side by side. Look at how pretty a 3-card draw would be. Very nice. I like it. I really like these images. I think that the artist that did this deck actually did a couple of the Seasons of the Witch decks. So that might be why these images are looking very familiar to me, because it's in that same, it's done by the same artist. Let's look in, because the artist is in the back of the book. So let's take a look at the artist in the book and see what the artist actually did. The illustrator based in Kentucky, whose work explores the threads of stretching between nature, femininity, folklore, history, spirituality, and art. Previous works include The Seasons of the Witch, Samhain, Yule, and Beltane. Okay, so that's why this seems so familiar. So she's the same illustrator as for a couple of the Seasons of the Witch. We drew True Love. Let's do True Love. Do you feel whole? Number 4. Let's take a look at that in the book and let's read that. So True Love, the lore. True love is layering of unbreakable bonds, first within yourself and then with another. Kismet, fate, Bishart, written in the stars, soulmates, meant to be, love stories as old as time, captivating us with their potency and forces, ending either in a happy ever after or a tragedy. Nothing in between. In story, love defies expectations, transforms, and even breaks curses. The meaning of this card: in folklore and fairy tales, the first spark of love quickly rages into a forest fire, igniting the hero or heroine on a path of self-discovery, magic, everlasting transformation. A person on a quest to find true love will grit their teeth and summon courage to their heart as they stand before the demons and dragons that block their path. Do you feel a call or stirring within, a readiness to fight for your heart's desire? The stars have already determined that it is meant for you. What is stopping you from claiming it? Then, to go deeper, each of us contains a myriad of opposing qualities, masculine and feminine, light and dark. True love has the ability to harmonize these complex emotions, to marry these opposites, even though a process is as frustrating as it is rich within meaning. Love follows a test, a separation, or a choice. Each trial, another dot connecting the quester's circular journey. Connect the final dot and you are whole, yet back where you began. For everything you need to complete your quest is within you all along. Now these dots appear less scattered and random. A persuasive loneliness dissolves. You embrace yourself and then, at last, another. What parts of yourself are still in need of integration, balance, acceptance, or growth? You are already whole, but do you feel that certainty deep within? So yeah, again, this is definitely a great daily pull or a weekly pull and journaling prompt situation. So each one of these cards looks like they probably have questions like that. Who is your community? Where can you change or untangle to help align yourself with the manifestation of your unique path? Definitely a great daily, weekly, or nightly pull, and then journaling situation, or just thoughts. Just think about things. So I like to use my cards in that way. I do find myself definitely using a lot of my Oracle cards that way. So that's what I would use these cards for. They're really lovely. I look forward to using them. I don't know yet when I'm going to use them because I have a couple of other decks I want to use first. But I did sign up to get this when it was released, and I'm glad I did. I'm really happy to have it as part of my collection. And that is the Folklore Oracle. Until next time, thank you everyone. Bye.